Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I decided just to throw on a robe and just get cozy and comfy, especially because it's pretty cold outside. So why not just sit down and just do some makeup with you guys, but not just any kind of makeup. You seem to love the affordable product videos, so here's another one for you. So grab your makeup brushes or a snack, whichever is your preference, and let's get into today's video. Alright you guys, let's go ahead and jump into things. So first and foremost, I do have my cozy warm robe on. I will try to link it down below. I did get it from Target. They have different shades and colors, so make sure you get your hands on it while you can, because I'm not sure how much longer they will have them. Now let's get into the makeup, which is probably what you're here for. And again, we are going to be using all drugstore products. So today I am going to start with priming my skin, and I'm going to start with my base makeup before my eyes, just because the eyes aren't too complicated. And I'm going to start with a primer spray. This is the Wet n Wild 3-in-1 primer water, and this one is in cucumber. I've used this one obviously, but I've also used the coconut one as well, and I like both of them. It's just a preference of scent if you ask me, and I also do feel like this really helps lock, you know, my makeup in place and stuff. So this is definitely a very affordable primer spray to really invest in, and at the same time it's not really investing too much because again, it's affordable. So of course I like to double prime, so I'm going to use the e.l.f. Jelly Pop primer. This is their dew primer. My skin has been on the drier side lately, but instead of using an actual like illuminating primer, because honestly, if I'm being real, I don't even own a like glowy primer drugstore side. So if you guys have any recommendations for such a thing, then definitely let me know down in the comments. But I like this one because again, it is a dupe for the Milk Hydro Grip primer, and it works pretty much the same. The only difference is that it's not as tacky as the Milk makeup, but it still really helps with the makeup application and just making sure that the makeup sticks to your skin. So a nice layer of that and you're good to go. And I think that's all I'm going to do for primer. Now when it comes to foundation, I've been obsessed with the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Hydrating Foundation. This one again is in medium 100W. I love this stuff, but I'm also going to put this Milani. This is their Soft Focus Complexion Enhancer. I have not used this in quite some time, so I wanted to pull it out and kind of do what I did in my last video and use it as a glow booster in a sense. So I'm gonna put it underneath my foundation instead of mixing it in. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this first. Just a couple of pumps. It's been a minute since I used this. I actually just applied this directly to my fingers. I don't know why, but I will definitely blend this in with the brush. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend it in with this Baddington brush that I got in BoxyCharm. This by no means is affordable. We're using affordable makeup products, not necessarily affordable brushes, because I do have affordable makeup brushes, but I also have my favorites as well, and I really like this brush for this step, so I'm just gonna use it just to help blend this enhancer into the skin. This just adds a nice bronzy glow to the skin, and again, it's really gonna help with the foundation as well and just kind of give it a glow from within, if you get my drift. I mean, I've never used this product specifically for that, but I'm hoping that it'll give me the same outcome as the other one did. And if you don't know which one I'm talking about, it is the one from L'Oreal, but you can also watch my previous video and get all the details over there. All right, now I'm just gonna go in with my foundation. This again is the Colourpop Hydrating Foundation. So I think I'm just gonna take it on that same brush I was using initially. I can't remember because I haven't, even though I like love this foundation, I haven't used it too recently, so I don't really even remember, but I do like the way that this is applying it. It's applying it in a lighter way, if you will. So, I mean, it has coverage, don't get me wrong. but you could definitely build it up more if you wanted to, but I kind of like the way that it's looking for me right now. This foundation for me is long wearing, and I do find that it holds up pretty nicely throughout the day. My skin doesn't get excessively oily or anything like that, and honestly, I think this is my favorite drugstore foundation that I've tried in quite some time. Let's jump into a little bit of concealer, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. This is the original one, so I believe this is like the more mattifying version out of the other one, because the other one is hydrating, and I really don't like the hydrating concealer. This is also pretty brightening for me as well, so love that. And I'm just gonna apply it generously. I kind of do this now underneath my lip, just to kind of get underneath here. It's kind of like the same thing you would technically do with like powder, but instead of powder you do it with concealer. And I'm going to blend it with my sponge, but before I start blending in my concealer, I'm gonna let that sit for just a little bit, and I'm gonna use the Milani Conceal and Perfect. This is also a concealer, but I'm gonna use this for cream contour. I was gonna use my Wet n Wild, but I had a thought to put some on the back of my hand instead of going directly in with the brush, and just kind of like tapping my brush into it, kind of like what a makeup artist would do, and then taking the product onto my cheeks. So I'm just gonna come right here and then just start outlining, if you will, or contouring. That's the technical term. And just slowly build up the product, because sometimes I feel like it can look a little too dark, and I don't want it to look too dark. I want it to be balanced. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start blending out my concealer. I'm using a brush just because I really feel like I let this sit just a little too long. And when that happens, I think that using a brush is a little bit easier, you know, on me, and to help blend it out versus a sponge. So I'm just gonna use this. This is the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush, which I really, really love for this step anyways. So another great affordable, you know, product, and this time it's actually a brush. So now that we have all our creams blended out, there is one more cream product I want to go in with. This is the Morphe 2. This is their Wonder Tint Cheek and Lip Mousse. I've never used it for my lips, but I have used it for my cheeks. So I'm gonna apply this as a cream blush, and I'm gonna do the same technique of dipping into the pan and then kind of stamping it on the back of my hand. So as you guys see, it looks like this, but I'm gonna just do that so I can not do too much, and then I'm gonna press it on my cheek area. So I'm gonna keep it right in this area where I've been putting my blush, and just tap it on. Now let's go ahead and use a little bit of powder. Now the powder I'm gonna use today, I have not used in a couple of years, honestly. And when I was going through my powders, trying to pick a drugstore powder, and I saw this one, I can't even remember, you know, what it was like to use it. So we're gonna use it today. I'm gonna use this Airspun powder. This is the loose face powder, the original. Oh man. Well, I didn't realize the amount of powder that was sitting in the lid, so half of it pretty much dropped on my table, but I'm just gonna take whatever I can from the lid that's left, and I'm just going to start pressing that with my sponge underneath my eye. Doesn't seem to be too cakey or anything. Definitely has a strong scent to it. I forgot about that. It's not bad, but you know, I could do without. Okay, so now we're going to set the rest of our face. I'm just gonna use a little bit of this number 7 powder, and this is in medium. I haven't picked up the fair shade, or I think it's light, I'm not sure, one or the other, but the shade lighter than this I have yet to pick up yet. So I'm just gonna tap this on the perimeter of my face. For the eyes, again, it's gonna be pretty simple. I pulled out 2 palettes because I wasn't really sure what I was gonna use. So I have this one from Colourpop. This is the California Love, and then I have the LA Girl. I want to use this gold shade right here. I know that, but I am unsure as to whether or not I want to use this shadow right here as my base or a shadow from the Colourpop palette. I think I'm just gonna use the LA Girl palette for the base shadow. So I'm gonna use this shadow right here as like my base. I do recall it, you know, pulling a little orange, and from what I remember when I used this palette, the colors kind of are similar, but I'm just gonna go ahead and use this one, just this one shadow, and I'm just gonna start by packing it on my lid first. So I'm just gonna press it down and then slightly buff it into the crease. So kind of like a smoky eye, if you will, but I'm not gonna lay down too much shadow, just enough to, you know, just have a little bit of color on the crease, but also, you know, on the lid as well. Pulled out in M441 just to help blend and buff this shadow a little bit more into the crease and just to help everything blend seamlessly. I didn't add any extra shadow onto the brush. I just went in with a clean brush just to help distribute what we already have on our lid. So I'm just using light circular motions just to perfect everything and just make sure it's nice and blended. So now that we have that laid down, I'm gonna take my finger and I'm gonna take Surf Rider, which is the gold shade right here, and it's really pretty, and I'm just gonna press that on my lid, just with my finger, no brush, no setting spray, just tap that on. Okay, now that I have that there, I'm actually feeling something a little bit more of a deeper brown copper shadow, so I'm gonna take this one right here from the LA Girl palette, and I'm just gonna press that on top. See how I like that? It's all right, but it's really not what I was going for. So give me 1 second. Let me go grab another palette that definitely has like a deep, dark brown copper shimmer that I really want to use. So I went ahead and grabbed this. This is the Beauty Creations Cali Chic palette. I really hope this is affordable at the very least. The packaging looks like it's affordable, but the pigment on this shadows are, they're there. So I'm gonna use this darker brown, and I might even buff a little bit of the matte brown in this palette in the crease, because I wanted to like do monochromatic, I guess, but I didn't want it to be orange. I'm gonna take a little bit of the matte, and I'm gonna take it on that same M441 and just kind of buff that in the crease and see if I can make it work like this. If not, we would just have to take this off and start from the beginning, girl. Okay, that's doable for me. I can do that. So that's a lot of steps that are somewhat unnecessary, but at the same time, if I would have just went in with these two shadows, you know, this one first and then this one on top, it definitely would be darker and not the same vibe. So I guess using the other shadows wasn't too bad. So I'm just gonna do the same thing to this eye. I'm also gonna pop on some lashes, and then when I come back, we can finish out with the rest of the base makeup and close up today's video. All right, beauties, lashes are on. Now let's jump into bronzer. I'm gonna use this one from Physicians Formula. This is their butter bronzer, and this is Sunset Bronzer, so I'm gonna use this one. I do have the palette with Whaley, which I love, but I figured I'd use this. Maybe not so much. I don't want it to be too pigmented. I feel like this one and the one in the palette are not exactly the same, but nonetheless, I do want to, you know, use this one as well, just because I have it, so I might as well use it. I'm just gonna apply this all around my face. And again, I can always be heavy-handed when it comes to bronzer, so I'm really trying not to be, and just be more mindful of how much product I'm actually using. And I think that's enough. I don't want to go overboard. But I also took out this one from Morphe, and I was thinking, because it's a little bit deeper, not too deep, but just a little deeper, I like to normally use my ABH bronzer in Saddle to kind of like powder contour, if you will. So I figured I could just use a little bit of this for that step since we're only using drugstore products. And I have not used this in like a long time. And I know Morphe has similar bronzers, different packaging. I don't know if they just repackaged this collection or if it's like a whole new collection. Maybe you guys can let me know down below, but I did see it in Ulta. So if it's the same, then you might want to check it out if you have not gotten this collection. For blush, I'm gonna use this one from e.l.f. e.l.f.? I think I said that. That sounded like I said it so weird. And sometimes it's a little difficult to open. So it's this one right here in Always Cheeky. I'm just gonna use a little bit of this on my cheeks just to re-intensify that blush that we put, but I'm gonna try not to put too much. The element of blush just really does something nice to the face. Okay, I think we are good. So that's enough blush. Now let's use some highlight. I'm gonna use this one from Kokie. It's not like a favorite of mine or anything. It's pretty, but it's definitely not one of those really extreme highlights. So you do have to build it up quite a bit if you want, you know, it to show a lot more. But I'm just gonna put a little bit. This is definitely one of those highlighters that you don't really see unless you're actually looking for it. And that's why I do still have it and like it, but it's not anything too intense. It's very much so that glow from within, but it is a little bit more, you know, glittery than any other ones. I'm gonna use that same highlight and I'm gonna go ahead and pop it in my inner corners. I feel like a little bit of the shimmer shadow that I had on the lid kind of got in the inner corner anyways, so this is just really intensifying everything and just giving it a nice little pop in the inner corner. And I think the highlight really complements the eyes. This is definitely looking like a holiday makeup look, so if you wanted to, you could absolutely do this for like the new year. This is really cute. I like this. Okay. All we have left to do is our lips, believe it or not. But before we do our lips, I'm gonna set my face one more time, and I'm still gonna use the Colourpop spray. I don't have to spray as much as I did the first time, but a nice generous layer doesn't hurt. We are almost done, you guys. I am kind of debating right now if I just want to do my traditional glossy lip because I love that personally, or if I should just try out this, well, not try out because it's a lip combo that I've done before. We'll see. But first, let me just take care of these brows really quickly because they kind of got a little powdery along the way. I'm just using this Covergirl Easy Breezy Brow Clear Brow Gel, and I'm just gonna comb this through my brows. This is just gonna help them look more alive and a little bit more bold versus a little bit of ashiness over here that's going on because of the powder. So that's what we got. All right, so for the lips, let's just go ahead and do this lip combo and see how I'm feeling about it. So I'm gonna use my Milani Understatement lip liner. This one is in Saucy Toffee. I love this lip liner. I seriously need to get more shades. I keep forgetting, but I need to make it a point to get more shades of this. I do have one other one, but it's orange basically. And then I think I'm going to add Nude Embrace from Maybelline, the lipstick. It pulls a little pink though. I don't have much of this left. This used to be a lipstick that I used to use nonstop. And then I might just add a little bit of this L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Liquid Lipstick in the center, which is Sweet Tooth, and this is also a favorite of mine. So let's get these lips popping. Okay beauties, so this here is the finished and final look. I'm actually happy that I went ahead and applied the lip combination instead of just going with the glossy lip. I just think it just all flows very, very nicely together. I love this lip combination. I just was low-key feeling a little lazy, but putting in that little bit of extra work really paid off because I feel like the overall look is stunning. I love it personally. I might just recreate this and do this again for the new year, but overall, I love the way everything turned out. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know if you have any other video suggestions down in the comments down below. Also, let me know what your goals are for 2021. I know 2020 has been rough for a lot of people, but hopefully 2021 is gonna be a better year. With all of that, I am gonna close out today's video here. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will catch you all in my next upload.